for the fascinating science behind why commercial jets spend most of their journey at 35,000 feet, and the delicate balance that keeps them safely in the sky. It is a routine we rarely question, even though every journey depends on a remarkably precise balance. Look up at the sky and watch an aeroplane gliding by. From the ground, it seems so calm and slow. But the truth is shocking. That metal tube is racing through the freezing sky at more than 500 miles per hour, which is around 805 kilometers every single hour. And here is something interesting. If you fly often, you may have noticed a strange pattern. Almost every airplane you board cruises at nearly the same height, somewhere between 35,000 feet and 40,000 feet. That is roughly 10 to 12 kilometers above the Earth. But why this exact height? The sky is huge. Space officially begins at over 300,000 feet, which is about 91 kilometers up. So why do aeroplanes stick to this thin, invisible highway? Why not climb higher to escape turbulence and bad weather completely? The answer hides in physics, engineering limits, and a frightening idea pilots call the coffin corner. Let us start with something simple, the air itself. Near the ground, the Earth's atmosphere is thick and heavy. This thick air is wonderful for our lungs, but very bad for flying fast. Pushing a heavy aeroplane through thick air is just like trying to run inside a swimming pool. The water slows you down, makes you struggle, and tires you out quickly. In the same way, thick air creates strong resistance called drag, and the plane must burn a huge amount of fuel just to move forward. So aeroplanes climb higher. Up at 35,000 feet, the air becomes much thinner. There is less resistance, so the plane can fly faster while burning far less fuel. Sounds perfect, right? Then why not keep climbing even higher? Here lies the catch. Jet engines work by sucking in oxygen to burn fuel. If the plane goes too high, the air becomes so thin that the engines simply cannot breathe. They would starve and shut down, what pilots call a flameout. At the same time, the wings need enough air molecules to push against to keep the heavy plane floating. So this height between 35,000 and 40,000 feet is aviation's Goldilocks zone, not too thick, not too thin, just right. But there is a darker reason too, and this is where the coffin corner enters. As a plane climbs into thinner air, it must fly faster just to create enough lift to stay up. If it flies too slow, it loses lift, stalls, and begins to fall. So the higher you go, the higher your minimum safe speed becomes. Now comes the twist. As you climb, the temperature drops sharply, and in such freezing air, the speed of sound actually becomes slower. If the aeroplane flies too fast, the air rushing over its curved wings can touch the speed of sound, creating violent shockwaves that destroy lift and can literally tear the plane apart. So as the plane climbs, the minimum safe speed keeps rising and the maximum safe speed keeps falling. Climb high enough, and these two speeds finally meet. At that deadly point, flying just 1 mile per hour too slow means you stall, and 1 mile per hour too fast means you break apart. This trap is the coffin corner. Aeroplanes stay near 40,000 feet to keep a safe, comfortable distance from this danger zone. And finally, there is the most delicate part of the whole flight. You, the passenger sitting inside. At 40,000 feet, the outside air pressure is so low and oxygen so scarce that a person would faint in less than 20 seconds. That is why the cabin is heavily pressurized, pumping safe, breathable air into the tube so you can calmly read a book or sip your coffee. But engineers must plan for the worst. If a window cracks or a door seal fails, the cabin loses pressure instantly. At 35,000 feet, oxygen masks drop, and pilots get enough time to dive down to a safe, breathable height of around 10,000 feet. But if a plane were cruising at 60,000 feet and lost pressure, your useful conscious time would drop to just 3 to 5 seconds. Simply too dangerous for a giant jet packed with people. There have been exceptions in history. The legendary Concorde, with its huge delta wings and powerful engines, flew at 60,000 feet, letting passengers see the gentle curve of the Earth. Even today, smaller and lighter private jets can reach 51,000 feet. But for the big, heavy commercial planes carrying hundreds of people daily, the sweet spot remains right there at 40,000 feet. It is a perfect, invisible marriage of safety, fuel efficiency, and pure physics. So next time you peep out of that tiny window, you will know exactly why you are flying where you are. Thank you for tuning in to this podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more captivating tales from India and beyond.